Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ask Coach V. So excited to be here. Hello, Super Coach Ivon.
Hey, Coach, and hey, everyone. I'm excited for this one. As always, we got some great questions, and it's going to be such a good time. And for all of you guys that know, you know how it is. We show up here and we do exactly what the title says. We ask Coach V. So we look for questions that agents are asking, challenges that they're having, and we bring them here and we say, hey, Coach, you know this stuff. You've been there, you've done it. Now you teach it. What do you think? And we have a great conversation about it, right, Coach?
A wonderful conversation. And today, it's a beautiful day to help a lot of you guys to know what to do, to level up, to build your business the way you want and start making the money that you deserve and have the life that you want on your terms. So I'm ready, Coach. Let's get started.
Yeah, let's do it. So I got two very different questions. We'll start with the first one, because the first one I think will lead to some good discussion about a lead source. So I'll just go ahead. I copy and pasted it from a social media group with a bunch of agents. Someone asked this question. I'll just read it word for word. So question, what's your experience or success or lack of success trying to grow your business by holding an open house for another agent's listings? Is it worth it? So that's the question. And I think it's a great one because we can answer this question specifically, and then it kind of leads to talking a little bit about open houses and different kinds and how they work. But basically the short of it, Coach V, is it worth it to hold other agents' listings open?
I love it. It is worth it if you have the right energy and the right strategies. Yes, it is worth it. It is worth it because if you don't have listings on your own, open house is a great opportunity to present and get clients. So if you don't have in your own, actually, you should and must find listings of your colleagues and fellow real estate agents because you want to be in front of people, Coach, right?
Yeah. So when you say, it's an opportunity to present, what does that mean to you? What do you mean by present?
Oh, I love it. And by the way, it's because you're right in front of them. And I was going to say, by the way, it's because it's one of the best lead sources, especially if you don't have a lot of going on right now. When you're in front of them, you can show your value, have an opportunity to differentiate yourself and set an appointment. And we know the name of the game is appointment. And during an appointment, you can convert, right? But now this is already an appointment because this is already like built-in appointment. People are coming to you. I mean, this is awesome. I believe open house is a fantastic way to generate business. Did I answer the question?
Yeah. And so, well, okay. I mean, we're talking about holding someone else's listing as an open house, and you're saying it's worth it. Now, at the same time, I've seen and heard a lot of agents saying, I don't think open houses are worth it. It's a waste of time. Nothing works. So if you're sitting here telling me, it's worth it, even if you're holding someone else's open house, why do you think there's that disconnect? Why do some agents feel like open houses aren't worth it?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. And again, they have a wrong perspective. Maybe they never had a good experience because nobody taught them the right way. Maybe they were being a host, just coming in, give them a flyer, no intention, no goal, no way of articulating, no building rapport, no setting appointment. So again, they probably had a bad experience and now they think it doesn't work. So it's such a beautiful way to get business. Let me give an example. When I sold real estate, I was selling over 125 homes, over 130 homes per year. Now, at the open house, I probably wrote 4 to 5 offers at the open house in the kitchen counter right after the open house is finishing. So from the open house itself, I sold between 4 to 5 homes. But Coach, can I tell you what I really got from those great open houses?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Lots of appointments with sellers. And guess what? With skills and the right strategies on your skills of listing presentation, you get a lot of listings. I got so many listings.
Well, let me jump in here and ask you. I want to stop you because I'm probably thinking what some other people are thinking, which is appointment with sellers. Isn't it usually, buyers that are showing up at open houses?
Yes, you have a lot of buyers, but again, use the right preparation. I teach this right on my beautiful conversion code. I teach them exactly in the open house how to set appointments. And if you are there with the buyers, yes, you set appointment with the buyers. But guess who shows up a lot on the open houses, Coach?
curious people, homeowners, people checking it out, neighbors.
Neighbors, exactly. And when the neighbor shows up, they're curious about the market, they're curious about the house and maybe the floor plan, but what else they're curious about? They're
If
curious
they could
about
upgrade.
if they can upgrade, how much their home is worth, what's going on. They have some questions, like they're intrigued, right? And it's so cool to set appointments. I usually set 2 appointments in an open house, minimum. I was pushing 3. I did a lot of walkthrough, after the open house, go meet people. So let me answer this very clearly. Find open house to do it. It's a great way to build your business, to build your database. I have a lot of clients right now starting new offices, a new area, like Renato. Renato is a great agent in New York. He moved to Hawaii. Now he's helping people in New York and people in Oahu. And by the way, it can be done. I have people also in San Diego and having another business in Idaho. So you can do it with the right strategies. And what he's doing it, and I told him to do, Renato, open house 5 times per month or more, because that's how you're gonna meet people, build your database, connect, and you're so amazing with your energy, you're so charismatic. Set an appointment, darling, set the goal, study the market. Oh my gosh, he actually got 2 appointments. He got one listing for 1.6 million. Well, that was for door knocking as well. He's doing door knock. He's a new agent in Hawaii, Coach Ivon. But you see, with the right strategies, everything works, by the way. Door knocking, open house.
And that's what I was about to say, at the risk of sounding like a broken record here, because now I'm remembering, maybe it was our last episode or 2 episodes ago, we had a question where someone was asking about, online leads. Are they worth it? Are they worth it? And the big thing there was like, look, if you know what to do, it's worth it. And it's the same thing with the open houses, right? Like you said in the beginning, if you have the right strategy, if you know how to approach it, it can be worth it. If you show up there and you hand out flyers and you sit around for 3 hours, you're going to waste a lot of time. But if you have the right strategies, it's a whole nother deal.
Exactly. So I'll tell you right away, quick second of coaching, set your intention. I will do set your minimum standard. I do 5 open houses per month minimum. That's your minimum standard. I do 5 open houses. Okay. Take a Sunday off, but the rest do open house. Number 2, here's my goal. My goal is to set 1 solid appointment minimum per open house. And then what are the skills I need to know? What are the questions I need to do? How do I set my, how do I stack my gold means? How do I show the benefits, show my value, show the benefits of working with me and establish my unique selling proposition, and then go market and learn everything about the market, because once people know you're different, they're never going to forget you. They're going to go to other open houses, but they come to you. Now, let me say this to you. Many times, Coach, I'm going 1 step further. Many times the other agents don't want to share the open house with you. Isn't it true?
Happens. So how do you ask them? How do you get it?
First of all, you got to keep asking. Keep asking. What is the saying that we say here in America about the
the squeaky wheel gets the grease or something like that?
Exactly, right? You got to keep asking. And if they have great listings and they don't have enough people to do it, they will let you do it. And I would even make the path a little sweeter. I would say, John, I know you have a team. I know you're doing open houses, but you know what? You have so many listings. Let me help you. And let me tell you, by any chance, if I write an offer on the house, I'll give you 50%. You see, I'm from a place that 50%, something is better than nothing. Something about something is better than a lot of nothing, right? So
plus the main thing that you're most likely to get is not to sell that house right there in the open house, but the appointments you're generating from it, right?
Appointments. So what is the goals? The goals is set appointments, number 1. Number 2 is meet a lot of people, build your database, and start building the connections, real estate. I love open house. Open house. My clients used to come, Coach Ivon, and the kitchen would be like a party, because they'll see my signs everywhere. They would walk in and go, darling, hi, darling, because they call me darling. I call them darling. So again, you create that kind of energy with the people. My basketball players will say, what is Vanda? What is Vanda? Sometimes my team was there. And they say, you're not Vanda. And then Vanda here in the back. So listen, do open house is an awesome way to build a business.
Got it. So long story short, is it worth it to do other people's open houses? Yes, it is. Okay. Always worth it if you're being effective, if you're using the right strategy. So don't show up there, be a host, and lose your weekend just hanging
Yeah.
out. So let's
Yeah,
move
and
on to the next
put
question.
your energy in place too, coach. One more thing, make sure you guys have energy. If you're feeling down, sick and everything, put yourself in state, because people remember your energy more the things you say.
Awesome. So let's move on to the next question. I think we nailed that one. So this one, different direction. Okay. This one I saw someone pose as a kind of a conversation starter question, something that I think a lot of people are having challenges right now, which is, how do you handle this objection? I want to wait until the market crashes. So I feel like, the market has shifted, in probably most markets. Maybe there's some little markets where things haven't changed much, but across the country, most markets have experienced a shift. Now, of course, we don't have crystal balls, but people get ideas in their head. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. This is what's going on. And I feel like this is an objection that a lot of people are walking around giving, right? So how do you handle that when you're trying to help someone, whether they're a buyer or a seller or possible investor, whatever, and they say, oh, well, the market crash is going to happen. I got to wait.
A great question, great objection, right? That you're going to have a lot. And by the way, gotta level up your objection handling, closing in this market. First of all, there's kind of a two objection here. One is I want to wait, and the other one, the market is going to crash. So the best thing, remember, selling is asking great question, not telling. So instead of saying, oh, the market is going to crash, oh, the market is not going to crash. Why did you hear that? It's not going to crash. Look at this. Instead of going to that defensive mode of telling, stop and first of all, do the 3 steps we teach you guys at VIP. Do the 3 steps, right? Repeat, acknowledge, make him feel heard, important, then handle the objection, close to the next step. I would say right away, coach, you're gonna wait to for the market to crash? Interesting, John. Do you mind if I ask you, what makes you believe that the market is gonna crash? So, coach, right away, you got to go deep, because we don't know what he's thinking. How are we going to handle
Where's
anything?
he coming from with that, right?
Yeah. Who told, in a nice way. So instead of saying, who told you the market is going to crash? I know it's not going to crash. Instead of putting defensive and ego in the middle and try to convince him, now you say, that's interesting. Let me ask you, I want to know what makes you believe the market is going to crash, with a nice, curious, empathy tonality, and then let him talk, because he's going to tell you everything. I heard here, my neighbor said this, or my uncle who sells homes in New York. And then you're going to say, no, I can appreciate that. It might be a fear that many people might be thinking, right? The market is the interest rate went up, inventory is going up, things are happening. So people might be thinking this way. And then you do the transition that we teach you now or end. Now, what I know is, I've been studying the market really closely. Yes, and then you go over the data. So my point is, first of all, know your market, know the data, know how to articulate elegantly the state of the market right now. Guys and gals, I can't help it, Coach Ivon, saying this 1,000 times. If you don't know how to claim and explain in a good way, to articulate clearly what's going on in the market, you already lost the game. They're going to be having the fear, and they're not going to follow you or trust you because you don't know how to explain. Am I making any sense, Coach?
It makes total sense. And I think one thing that's so important here too is, look, it's not your job to explain away the market or make them feel good about the market or let them know anything about the market. Your job is to get them what they want, right? So, one of the things that I think people get focused on is they want so much to say, well, this is the market's going to do this, or this is why this is right for you, and this is why. But what we should probably start with is like, hey, let's reevaluate, let's go over why you're moving, why it's important to move now rather than later, or why it would make sense, or what could happen if you waited, what can happen if you go now. Because hey, at the end of the day, if the person has to move, and maybe they need your help to see that clearly.
Right. Well, that's the second step that I never got to, right? Handle the objection. Now, I want to go back is, no, it is our job. I think you meant it's not our job to convince them, because it is our job.
Coach V, what I mean is that it's not our job to make them feel like the market is perfect if it's not, or the market is this, or the market is that, because we're not selling them on the market. You know what I mean? We're helping them to get what they want. So it's not our job to try to tell them that, hey, this is actually the best market in the world. Yeah. Because what our job is to tell them, hey, this is how we can get you what you want. And this is the reality of the situation. Here are your options. Here's what I think, my professional opinion.
Exactly.
Here's what I believe. Here's how I can help you. So it's not about trying to help them, trying to convince them to say, oh, this is a great market. it's all about getting them what they want.
I love it. It's true. Yeah. This is our job. It's now our job to convince them the market's perfect for them. Our job is to ask great questions, know exactly what they mean, and handle that part. So first of all, establish your knowledge that, yeah, the market is not going to crash. Let's go over some of the data that I know. Then bring you the data. You got to bring the validation. You got to bring that evidence. The evidence, the inventory is too low, and then you stack the evidence. Now that we got to the same place, that the market is not going to crash, now you're going to go, so tell me again, because this is about you, right? Why would you buy now? Why do you want to buy a home? Go over the motivation. What's important to buy a home right now? And then once you know the motivation, you know if you have a client for now, 6 months from now, or a year from now, and then you can handle the rest. But this is a great question because it's so important to make sure that people don't come from a place of fear and uncertainty, because otherwise they won't move, they won't make a decision. Isn't it true, Coach?
Absolutely. And that's a big one, right? It's removing the uncertainty. And I think another thing worth considering here, guys, is that, people that are motivated, we always tell everyone, you got to have some minimum standards with your buyers. And one of those standards is that they're motivated. They're not moving in the next 3 years. They're not moving in the next 4 years, even 18 months. And the thing is, the people that need to buy and need to move, they need to buy and they need to move, and maybe if they're priced out, that's one thing. Or if they have the option where they're going, we can wait, they're going to find any reason to wait, whether it's because they think the market's going to crash or because of this or because of that. So sometimes if you're getting this objection from someone, make sure you take some time to realize, well, okay, what actually is your timeline? Do you want to move right now? Or is this, you want to move later? And that's just a convenient thing that people are talking about right now that kind of makes sense for a reason to wait.
I love it. I love it. Exactly. So you want to know if you have a client for now, and if they're going to buy 3 months from now, a year from now, they go on your drip campaign. They go on your
maintain that connection, follow up, and you help them when they're ready.
Exactly. They're going to get out your weekly mail. You're going to follow up with them. Now, it's important, that when you talk to them, your tonality is empathy and curiosity. Don't make them feel stupid or wrong. Otherwise, they're not even going to care for you. So ask with a lot of empathy. Hey, what makes you believe that? Why do you think it's going to crash? I'd love to know. Do you get an evidence? Because what do we know? Because what we know, So handle that fear, clarify with a lot of empathy so they don't think you make them feel stupid. And then go to the next level. Say, now tell me about you. What do you want? If you could buy your home today, what do you want and why it's important? And then go deep and then set the appointment. Don't forget, the closing is for the next step. Oh, no, we're not ready. We're going to be buying 6 months from now after we retire. I'm going to retire in December. Oh, fantastic. You know what? Why don't we do that? Why don't we set a time for January? And then we go over your needs and wants. We can meet you, me and you and your wife, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so the steps, don't forget, repeat, acknowledge, make them feel heard, important, validated. Handle the fear, handle the objection, clarify, and with a lot of elegance, a lot of empathy, set the appointment for now or for later.
And I think it's worth saying, as we close out this one, that I know that most of the agents out there, most of you guys watching, it's not your intention to, make someone feel dumb or make someone feel, bad for bringing an opinion that you maybe don't agree with. Now, I know that we all have to be careful with our initial reaction, because sometimes a buyer or a seller, anyone we're working with, they might show up and say something that you think is wrong. And your initial reaction, even though you don't want to make them seem dumb, your initial reaction might be like, what? What are you talking about? And as soon as they get that from you, man, they're going to feel bad about it, right? You're done. So make sure that you really control that initial reaction, even if they're saying something crazy, because you don't want to make them feel like you think it's crazy.
I love it. I love it, Coach. A great strategy is, as they say something, count in your head. 1, 2, 3, breathe. 1, 2, 3, breathe. You don't have to answer right away. You don't have to jump in, because if you are reactive, you say things that you might regret. So breathe and say, oh, interesting. Tell me more. You can even say, tell me more as you think about what you're going to say next. There's so many strategies. Now, I have to say this to you guys. Don't forget the 3 steps. I was talking to one of my clients yesterday. She's only 2 months with me. She's still understanding what an appointment is. And what she does is she talks to a lot of the leads, and sometimes she's answering the objection, but she's not setting the appointment. So set the appointment. And because she said, well, they're not ready yet, they're going to sell much later. I said, darling, it's still okay. You can say, look, why don't we do this? Why don't I call you and beginning of October. Let's pencil in. I'll call you here. We talk about, on Monday, 10 o'clock, October 5th. And then we can set a time to see in the future when you're ready. You see, you still set, even if it's a tentative appointment, because you always close. You never leave people, handed objection and blah. No, you go to the next step. You always close. All right? ABC, always be closing because people need direction.
Absolutely.
And it's how you do it.
Yeah. So you know what,
Coach? I answered
V,
the question, Coach.
I think we totally answered the question. So guys, I love today's questions because I think they were, both of them very different, but so on point with what's going on right now, right? We can always be doing more open houses, generating more leads. And the truth is that objection, that's going to be around for a little while because people are uncertain. So yeah. Coach V, thank you so much for answering these questions. I love doing these calls. Guys, if you like this, if you know someone that could benefit from this, make sure you share it with them. Hit subscribe right there. Like this, share this, send it to someone that you care about in real estate that can get some value out of this, because that's what we want to do here is we want to show up and make sure that you guys are getting your answers and getting your help. Right, Coach?
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Coach. It's always a pleasure being here with you guys. Just remember, ignorance is expensive. Ignorance is painful. Knowledge is power. And when you know what to do, what to say, how to say it, and you show up strong with a lot of confidence, certainty, and elegance, you are unforgettable. People love you. So go out there, sell a lot of homes, show up here for us, give me some love here, on the likes, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again. And thank you, Coach. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.